Hi guys, today we're going to be going through a whole body mobility sequence. This would be good to do maybe as a warm up or a cool down. You can also use it on an active recovery day if you're feeling a bit tight and you want to do a bit of stretching. We're going to be going through the whole body and there's no equipment needed. So we're going to start off with our upper body. Our first stretch is called the Cactus stretch, and we're primarily stretching these muscles on the front side of the chest, and we're keeping it dynamic. So we're going to be moving for dynamic repetitions and then holding our last rep for a little bit longer. So to set up, we're going to be in a prone position. We're lying face down and we're going to bring our arms out at a 90-degree angle. So I'm looking to have my elbow right in line with the shoulder and my hand in line with the elbow. From this position, we want to make sure our elbow doesn't creep down too low. We keep it nice and level with the shoulder, and we're going to use our opposite hand to push our body away. So I'm using my right hand here to push the floor away. My top foot will lift over, and we're going to hold that stretch on the chest for 1, 2, 3. We roll back onto the center and we're going to alternate arms. So my right arm comes out at 90 degrees. I push away and I'm going to hold for 1, 2, 3. So you can see our spine is twisting and we're looking up towards the ceiling as we twist. Number 2. 1, 2, 3. And right side. 1, 2, 3. Third rep. Left side. 1, 2, 3. Right side. Push and hold, looking up to the ceiling. 1, 2, 3. Fourth rep. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Fifth rep. Getting a nice stretch on the left side of the chest and a nice twist across the lower back. Right side. Final one, number 6, left side for 1, 2, 3, and right side. 1, 2, and 3. We're then going to come up into a kneeling position for our 90-90 shoulder hovers. So we've just stretched out our chest muscles. We're now going to be strengthening these upper back muscles, really important for posture. And we're also going to be working on some internal and external rotation at the shoulders. So I'm going to turn my back to the camera so you can follow along a bit easier. We're going to begin with the hands clasped behind the head. In this position, we're going to retract our shoulder blades and pull our elbows back towards the back of the room. We're then going to hover the hands off the head and extend the arms out into a T position. We should finish with the hands in line with the shoulders here. And we're going to again pull the arms back even further to the back of the room. We're now going to start internally rotating at the shoulder joints, making sure to move from the shoulders, not just at the wrist and elbow. We're then going to start to move into extension. So the arms come back behind, palms facing away from us. We're then going to again retract the shoulder blades, keeping the elbows fixed in place. We're going to meet the hands together. We're going to try and connect the hands before we touch the back. So my hands link together. We're going to press into the low back. Let the elbows move forward. Let the shoulder blades protract slightly. We're then going to retract again. Hover off the back. Up to the sides. And go for that full external rotation now till our palms face forward. Thumbs should be facing up, pinky fingers down. Then the hands connect again at the back of the head. That's 1 repetition. We're going to go for 6 total. This is number 2. Out to T position. Rotate inwards. Extend behind. Back to T position. External rotation. And connect the hands together. That's 2 repetitions. We got 4 more to go. Number 3. You should really start to feel the upper back muscles working hard here. We're moving slow and controlled. Don't rush through it. This is rep number 4. And push the hands into the back, retract the elbows towards each other. Shoulder blades are pinched together. We hover off. Up to T position. External rotation till the thumbs face up. Hands connect. Number 5. Push the elbows forward, pressing the hands into the back. Retract again, shoulder blades together. Hands come off. And to the sides. Externally rotate. Connect the hands. This is the last rep, number 6. Shoulder blades together, elbows back. Hands come off the head. We hover out to T positions again. Pull the hands back. We're going to internally rotate. Lower down. Hands come together. We're coming back up once more to finish on the back of the head for this last rep. And well done. So we can give our arms a little bit of a shake. They're quite tiring. We're then going to go into some hip mobility. So the first up we have is our hip rotations. We're going to begin in a bear sit position. So we're coming side on. The feet we want to be wider than the hips, so we can just straddle the legs wide and then bend the knees in towards us. The closer you can pull your heels into your hips, the harder. The further out will make it a bit easier. The second thing we can think about is leaning back more to make it easier and coming more upright to make it more challenging. So I have a nice straight spine, my shoulders are rolled back, my toes are pointed up to the ceiling. I'm going to rotate both hips, lowering my knees down to the floor. This is going to finish me in 90-90 position. It's okay for this hand to release now. And if we check our position, we should see a 90-degree angle at both hips. So I can see my shin is pointing straight ahead. My knee is in line with my hip, and on the trail leg, my knee is in line with the hip, my foot's in line with the knee. If I look down at the floor, it should look like a perfect rectangle on my yoga mat here. Keeping this front knee pushed into the floor, so imagine this knee is glued to the floor. I'm going to start externally rotating my back leg. I'm trying to get as far away with this knee as I can from this front knee. We should feel our glute muscles working, we should feel our groin stretching. And only when this knee can't travel any further, and as far as I can get onto the sole of the back foot, I can let this knee start to follow. All the time I'm keeping as big a distance as I possibly can between the knees. I'm going to maintain that distance till I come into 90-90 position on the other side. This hip is now internally rotating. And again, we repeat from the opposite side. Knee is pinned to the floor, I rotate. This is going into external rotation away. And as I come across, this trail leg's going to internally rotate. So you're getting a lot of hip rotation. That's one full repetition. We're going to go for 6. This is number 2. Moving nice, slowly and controlled. And back. Number 3. Again, keep that front knee pinned, start to rotate back. 4. Keep checking that you're finishing in that 90 position each time. This is number 5. We're nearly there. Again, try to get that knee as far as you possibly can before the trail leg follows. Last rep, number 6. All the way over. And we go back again. Okay, so we should finish again in that 90-90 position, and we're going to go for some 90-90 pigeon stretches. So I'm going to be stretching these outer hip muscles. So as I'm facing forward here, I'm going to be getting a stretch on my right glute and hip. I want to think about keeping this right knee again in line with my hip, my back knee in line with my back hip. I'm going to rotate forward, so let this back leg lift slightly so my hips are squared. And the main thing I want to think about is keeping my spine extended and straight as I hinge forward. So I don't want to just flex at the spine. We're not thinking about getting lower. We're more thinking about getting further, as if I'm trying to get my nose to reach forward towards the wall in front. So I'm hinging forward, and I'm closing the space between my abs and my thigh here, so I can fold over that front leg. We're going to hold the stretch for 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to push back up top. And number 2, I fold forward over the front shin, hold the stretch, apply some pressure down with your knee and hip into the floor for 1, 2, 3, and I come back up. Number 3, holding for 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3 seconds at the bottom, last rep 6, and a 3-second hold. Again, press down into the floor with the hip, knee and ankle for 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to just swivel over, one more rotation, and we're going to repeat the pigeon on the opposite hip. So my right knee is in line with my right hip, left knee in line with my left hip. And again, I'm thinking about a nice extended spine, not flexing at the back. I'm folding forward. I'm going to hold the stretch for 1, 2, 3, push up top. And 2. 1, 2, 3. Third rep. I'm only using as much hand support as needed. 4. My chest is staying in line with the knee. I don't want to be coming towards the foot, I'm coming towards the knee. And last rep. Okay, so that's our hip rotation work. We're next going to come into some hip extension flexion work. So I'm going to begin in a kneeling position. This is called a diagonal stretch and pike stretch. So my bottom knee, I'm going to start my right knee directly under my right hip. My left leg I'm going to extend forward. Okay, make sure the hips are squared, so we don't want this right hip coming behind. I twist that hip forward so both hip bones point straight ahead. And again, without flexing at the spine, I'm just going to fold forward. Trying to keep the low back nice and flat. And we're going to get a nice hamstring stretch. This is our pike position. We're stretching our hamstrings primarily here. We're holding for 1, 2, 3. Second movement, keeping the back toe pressed into the floor, I'm going to extend the hips forward. So I'm squeezing my right glute. I push my hip bones forward. I'm getting a bit of extension through the spine also. I'm going to reach my opposite hand, which is my left hand, to my opposite heel, towards that right heel. And I'm squeezing my right glute, pushing my hips up. This, we should be feeling a nice stretch on that right hip and some stretch across the back as well. We hold for 1, 2, 3, and we fold back into pike for 2. 1, 2, 3. Diagonal. 1, 2, 3. Pike stretch. I like to place the back of my hand on my low back to check it's not rounding. For the diagonal stretch, I like to cross my arm across the chest, and as I extend back, we should see our elbow pointing upwards, up the wall towards the ceiling. That means we're getting good spine extension. 4. Keeping good pressure with the big toe into the floor will help with your balance if that's difficult. And keeping your gaze fixed in one place can also be helpful. This is number 5. to number 6, last one. Changing sides, same setup. My left knee is going to come directly under the left hip. My right foot is forward on the heel. Hips are squared, so this time I'm turning that left hip slightly forward. The front leg is staying straight. My hand can go on the low back, making sure that we're not going into flexion. We stay nice and neutral, even slight extension at the back. We're going to start with a fold forward, getting a big stretch on the right hamstring. Ankle is slightly flexed so the toe points up also. Diagonal stretch, I push my hips forward. I'm going to cross my arms. I'm now going to reach my right hand towards that left heel. I hold, squeeze the left glute, push the hips up for 1, 2, 3. Back into pike stretch, number 2. 1, 2, 3. Diagonal stretch. 1, 2, 3. Third rep, pike stretch, 2, 3, diagonal, 4, 5, 6. Last diagonal, and slowly come out.